With storytelling, I tell all kinds of different stories, and often I tell stories as different characters. And sometimes I will say to people, I can tell stories on the basis of you putting on a hat of your imagination, or I can actually put on a hat or ask people to volunteer to put on hats during the stories. So sometimes I describe myself as a person who can find a hat for any occasion. I had been a teacher for quite a few years and had read a lot of books to children and had begun to portray some of my characters in my classroom as well. At one point, I took a class for teachers that was called Put Down the Book and Tell the Story, that a fellow storyteller did, and began to think of all the stories that I have in my head from books that I have read. So I began to tell more and more stories in my classroom. So that's how it began. I also had begun to look at my classroom and see if I could make concepts and themes and characters, historical characters, come alive by portraying them. So I went to the Cape Cod area and went to the Plymouth Plantation there and saw pilgrims or early Americans portraying what it was like in the 1620s. And I came home from watching those actors portray those characters and telling about their lives or the story of their lives, and decided I would do that in my classroom. I played my own sub and told the children what my life was like, and I still do Polly Pilgrim in classrooms. The next character I did came from children's literature, Mrs. Wishy-Washy, who's a farm lady, whose animals jump in the mud all the time, so she's muddy, and she tells what it's like to live on the farm, what her garden is like, the crops are like, and helps the children who might not have that experience for that area to come to life. And out of her came Georgia of the Jungle, who also helps children travel to a new location to find out about the jungle, plant life, and animal life. Another character I have done is Mother Goose, because I found out kids did not know nursery rhymes, and rhyming and repetition is a very basic reading skill. And so I helped my kindergartners get to have more experiences with rhyming, as well as the fun of being with Mother Goose. So I did that character. And then the last character that I did came out of a question if I could portray Mrs. Claus. And so I spend a lot of time in late November and December sharing with people about my life with Santa Claus.